All right, it's 10 o'clock. Woohoo! It's Membership Monday. It's 10 o'clock my time. Welcome to everybody. I'm glad to see you all. And let's start right off by saying hello to our national president. Where's Brenda Moore? Will you say hello to us, Brenda?
I will. Welcome to March Membership Monday. Got the 3 M's in there. And we're delighted to have you. And you guys are geniuses after sitting through some of those questions. I wouldn't know those answers. And Becky, thank you for doing that. Again, just welcome, enjoy, and I know you're going to learn and feel the shared enthusiasm from the membership committee. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Well, we have some guest stars, guest speakers today. We're going to start with Judy Gratz from Oklahoma. And Judy has got a PowerPoint for us. I'm going to bring it up, Judy. Judy has been a state president of Oklahoma and has been the South Central Region Director. We are so pleased to have her talk about Cushing Gladiolus Garden Club. And
Hello.
Judy, are you there? Ready to
Yes.
go?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to share with you and answer questions about our Cushing Gladiolus Garden Club. Next.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay.
There
We're
we go.
going to get this together.
Yep.
Okay. We started as a break-off club because the original club got too big. It was Chrysanthemum, and we became the Gladiolus. We were federated in 1953 with our objective to broaden members' knowledge of horticulture and to share the knowledge with the other community. Our club has always been a very active one in all the programs from national down. And over the years, membership kind of fluctuated up and down, but in 1990, they kind of just dwindled. But our energy didn't stop. What few members that we still had were active in all levels of administration, all the way to national. But more importantly, we became a place, and we wanted to learn, and that's where we've invited people to come. Next. COVID hit. Of course, everybody knows what happened. Zoom. On one of these Zoom meetings, a few of us got together and talked about where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. An idea was formed. It was nurtured and it grew. And that idea was, what if we start having our meetings online via Zoom? And as with any great comeback story, hope generated ideas, and great ideas generate actions, and actions generated our first Zoom meeting in the fall of 2021. Next, a member of our group met with the current president at that time, Mary Warshire. She talked to us, she gave a little advice, and she told us to go forth. So we did. We have sponsored a full series of environmental schools, a full series of gardening schools, environmental, and have plans on a landscape. With the proceeds from those schools, we have bought a Blue Star Memorial marker, a paver at the National Pathway. We have purchased the Gold Star, and it will be dedicated June 14th, 2025. Our current membership resides in 12 different states. We reach all 4 time zones. Next. Our members are active in their home clubs. So you say, what do we offer? We offer them the opportunity to learn new ideas, listen on new topics, and get programs to take back to their local clubs and share along with all the rewarding friendships that they will make in this group. But we're not done. We now have a base. We got bylaws. That was one of the hard things we had to come with that would work with everybody is our bylaws. We had a few obstacles, but we passed them. We worked through them, we discussed them. We have grown from our last meeting, which was in February. We have come up to having brochures to be handed out and also be on virtual. We are now on Facebook. But our initial goal for everything was to keep a little club alive, and we did that. And we wanted to expand it so that we'd bring in other National Garden Club members. We've done that. But now we're looking for the future. We want to grow the membership of National Garden Clubs, people who have not a member. So we're hoping that our advertising and going with our brochures next and our Facebook, that we will gain new members for the club, for all levels of this administration. This is the front or the back, whichever, of one of the brochures. It has not been approved by our club. It will be voted on in March at our meeting in March 15th. The first 4 bullets, I have already kind of given you an idea what was going on. The 5th one, it's the date of our club meeting. It is the 3rd Saturday of every month, and it typically lasts an hour to an hour and a half. We have discussions and collaborations on working with people who have a program to give, like to National. We had a youth chairman from National wanted to practice his, and we discussed that and helped him. They helped me with this one. If they have something they're going to give in their home state, we listen to those programs and help them. Like Robin was talking, we cover all 4 of our time zones, Eastern to Pacific. We start 8 Eastern and end up at 5 Pacific. Those are on there. Our agenda is a very simple one. We have 10 to 15 minutes of business, 45 minutes to an hour of a program. And after the program is over and the meeting is adjourned, we stay and discuss what's going on in our area. Maybe we have a problem and need a little assistance. That's when we talk about that. But part of our program is we also have snippets. Everything that is done by our members. If they have a guest, then they tell us they will ask a guest to come give us a program. And those programs are on horticulture, design, botanical arts, environmental science, youth leadership, technology, and parliamentary procedure. But our snippets will take up 2 of those topics that was not carried in the program. Next, we have generated enough that people have willingly come in and given very fantastic programs. We have final thoughts. We want to maintain the come as you are, come when you can policy to keep our meetings informal, casual, and focus on our programs. We realize our members are very active in their community. They all have gardens nearly. If you're outside working, planting that 20,000 tulips that you want to put in your yard and come in and you got a little bit of dirt underneath your nails, we don't care. Just come and visit with us. We love you the way you are. But as all clubs, we're going into a change, and we are looking forward to this one. With our new bylaws, we have a first administration change. Everybody's viewing it because it's going to be our future. We are checking it out, and we're hoping to do it many more times. We have built a foundation. Now our members from all 12 states or more can be officers with our new bylaws. So from our humble roots, In 1953, we can truly say, from Cushing Gladiolus Garden Club, local in-person garden club, that we are the Cushing Gladiolus Zoom Club, and from Oklahoma and beyond. Next. I'll talk about that if you need it later. This is the back side of that brochure. It has everything we need to tell you about us. It has our meeting time, the hours. There are two, you can't really see them, or I can't anyway with my eyes. Emails there, mine and my daughter's, which is our Zoom tech. And if you wish to visit us on March 15th for a fantastic meeting, we will next offer you a very warm invitation to join us March 15th, 2025. Our program that night is Christine Longthorpe. She is going to give a design, simple design using containers you have in your household and plants from your yard. Thank you very much. I'm open for questions.
Well, do tell us a bit about the Bugle Boy.
Okay, the Bugle Boy is something we, at our little town, Stroud, Oklahoma. It was the artist is Ari, A-R-I, Norris, Norris. The very first Bugle Boy ever presented was done in Michigan at the LST 393 Veterans Museum, November 10th, 2018. This is the first one, and this is the second one. This is ours that we know of. So, and this is 20 feet from our Blue Star Memorial, and it'll be about 20 feet. It will be the triangle to our Gold Star that's going to be dedicated in June 14th, Flag Day of this year. He plays reveille in the morning and taps in the evening. And I know North Carolina has a historical site for a Revolutionary War Bugle Boy, which was for James Gillis, and who died in February 12th, 1781. This artist, when he did this, was still in college. So he's not a very old artist. He's something to look forward to. We helped obtain the money to purchase this. Our garden club did, our members, not as a garden club, but as individual members. And so we feel like he's part ours to go with our Star Memorial markers. They're all in the same park on Highway 66 in Stroud, Oklahoma. Come by and get your picture made.
Thank you. Now we've got a couple of questions about our format. So
Okay.
talk a little bit about the, we've got about 4 minutes left. So
Okay.
talk a little bit about the snippets. So if it's a program, let's say the program is on floral design.
Okay, then a snippet would be maybe, well, the last one we had was on environmental. She told us about batteries, and our other one may have been on parliamentarian, I believe it was. And I can't remember exactly what that course is because you give such good ones and I should remembered. But it's something we will use in a meeting. It's either when to a motion, it needs to be a 2/3 vote or a full vote. You give us all information of what we will need in our future meetings. And they may be simple that people don't think about. When to raise your hand when you need to call the meeting back to order or point of reference. I see a lot of questions and I can't read them, so somebody will have to read
Okay,
them.
tell us about, and that the snippets are usually 3 to 5 minutes, right?
3 to 5, and they're always informative.
And so then tell us about the dues structure. How did you decide on the dues structure, and what is our dues structure?
Okay. We knew that we were having problems if we had people joining more than one club. And if we were turning in dues for that, that meant that Nationals numbers would be so out of sight, not right. Because I know that I do, and I know that you do, and I know how a lot of other people belong to more than one club and pay more than one due. So the numbers we know are already off at National, and it's nothing that we can do about that. But so we thought we would try this way and got an okay on it, and it has worked for us. If you belong to a federated club under NGC in any state, but you want to join our club, you send us $2. That's your membership to belong to the Cushing Gladiolus Garden Club from any state if you are already a member. If you are not a member of an NGC federated club, then you may join any club in another state, or you're welcome to join our club, and your dues will be $11, which goes, and that will make you a member of the Oklahoma Garden Clubs, the North Central District, the South Central Region, and National, as well as being a member of our garden club for $11. If you wanted to belong to a council and come occasionally, it's $12. It's $1 for anybody who wants to join the council.
All right. Now, one more time, would you put say your email address, but put it in chat, because it could be that 183 of my good friends here want to come and visit us on March 15th.
We'll do that. If not, I'll get Katie to do it. She has it. Okay.
Very good.
Any other
All right.
questions?
Is there any other questions that I couldn't see fast enough? They were coming by pretty fast. Katie or Sue, did you see anything?
I have
Becky,
a
did you see
question.
anything? Okay.
I was just wondering, for the snippets, are these people that you've recruited outside the club to come in and talk for a few minutes on Zoom, or are these club members?
Oof.
Generally, they're club members because we volunteer for that the
Yeah,
month
in July.
before.
We have in July, our whole club gets together and we decide what programs we want, and people volunteer. We don't have to go out and hunt for programs because we have such knowledgeable people. We had an NGC design instructor give us a program on February. It was done in January, but you can make a design at home in February. We have horticulture at any time year round on how to take care of something or do something. Environmental, we have some of the instructors that came with us and gave our program showing us their homes. We have a lady who in Louisiana went out and took pictures with her camera and came back and told us about all the beautiful gardens in her street, and that sometimes they'll give snippets about what's going on right then and there. But we have guests that come in and they'll just come in and give a snippet because they're there that night and they want to share it. We do have a spontaneous snippets.
Okay.
So come and give us one.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you, Judy. That was super.
I enjoyed it.
I think everybody got something from that. And so we are also doubly blessed this Membership Monday to have from Alaska, Eric Muelling. And will you?
Right.
There we go. There's Eric. Will you all welcome Eric?
Robin?
Yes.
Ooh, I have an introduction for Eric.
Then let's go to Becky for that wonderful Eric.
All right. So Eric Muelling is a true Alaskan, loving adventure in Alaska's outdoors. He has been an instructor of journalism and photography at the University of Alaska, as well as an on-the-ground photographer for our Fairbanks newspaper. When the internet was new, he designed the first online course catalog in Alaska. He is a self-taught computer programmer and multimedia designer. Eric worked with university research departments where his team produced online interactive science lessons for K-12 students. He's designed and delivered hybrid courses on Zoom. He's a former Peace Corps volunteer, builder, landlord, Toastmaster, certified drone pilot, and as he would say, a technical nerd, among so many other talents. He sits on the Planning Commission in Fairbanks and has served as chair because he felt the need to help improve the process for his fellow citizens. Today, Eric will demonstrate how to run an effective hybrid Zoom meeting. This is his first appearance in front of gardeners, so please give him an exuberant welcome. Even though he can't hear it, I'm sure he'll feel it. Welcome, Eric Muehling.
Becky, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Now, if you'll give me just I'm going to pause and share my screen, and then we'll get going with the presentation. All right, would someone confirm that what you see is a blue screen that says hybrid meetings and nothing else?
You got it.
Great. Well, again, Becky, thank you so much. Here's a quick story, and I do this to give you a little bit of my backstory. When I was a teenager in junior high school, that was a long time ago, I joined the Audiovisual Club. Students volunteered to deliver rolling carts with overhead projectors to classrooms. And I learned to load 16mm film into movie projectors, and when I showed up with the rolling cart, all the teacher had to do was turn on the switch. So in a sense, I've always been an audiovisual person, photography, video, computers, internet, Zoom. But I try never to forget that technology is just a tool to exchange ideas. So this is an introduction to Zoom. It's an overview of hybrid meetings and not a technical deep dive into the features and possibilities of Zoom. So I'll take questions at the end. I will not be monitoring the chat, so please hold your questions. Zoom became wildly popular during the global COVID-19 pandemic, as you know, in 2020. And for virtual group gatherings, Zoom use skyrocketed during the lockdowns, and now Zoom is the most popular video conferencing platform on the planet. Wherever you are, Zoom helps. Zoom works. Zoom can help you take classes and enjoy social interactions. It can let us work remotely. For me in Alaska, that means sometimes I don't have to get out on the snowy roads to attend a work conference. And I've been a member of the official Apple Computer User Group in Fairbanks, Alaska for almost 30 years. And we met in person for those 30 years until COVID. And now our Apple group exclusively meets virtually. Not long ago, Zoom meetings and video conferencing were a thing of science fiction. Imagine what a future may bring. Until we have Star Wars or Star Trek transporters and teleportation by converting persons into energy patterns, we'll just have to settle for Zoom for now. So beam me up, Scotty. A hybrid meeting is where remote participants can join an in-person meeting. So hybrid meetings require careful planning to ensure effective communication and participation from all the attendees. So in a conference setting, you have primarily in-person meetings, and in a remote gathering, which we have here today, everybody is virtually, we're having a virtual engagement over many time zones, I noticed. A hybrid Zoom meeting makes it possible for others to join a main meeting remotely. Zoom is a secure platform that helps government agencies communicate, collaborate, operate publicly and privately. State and local governments, including city councils, school boards, town halls, and courts, we're all using Zoom these days. 10 years ago, I hadn't heard of Zoom. University classes are often offered on Zoom, and I've taught many. The photo on the left shows a group of Toastmasters meeting in the public library in Fairbanks, Alaska. Now, that's my Toastmasters group, and by the way, Becky Hasselbrock is a member of this Toastmasters group. I've known Becky for a long time. Now, an entirely remote gathering allows individuals or small groups to meet virtually worldwide. Meetings can be held across several time zones. And remember, when sending out invitations, always, always, always include the time zone. Here's my pet peeve. Please never say tomorrow or next Monday in an email invitation. Always give the day, date, and time. Because, for example, in Thailand, it is already tomorrow. The international date line runs down the Pacific Ocean. So in your invitations, always include your date line and the date, and time. My pet peeve. So there are pros and cons to Zoom meetings. Pros are flexibility, cost effectiveness, increased participation across a broader reach, and improved collaboration. Those are the pros, and the cons are unequal participation by remote attendees. If you're in a conference, and I've been in large conferences where some people attend by Zoom, and they just don't have an equal opportunity to participate. There can be feelings of disengagement or exclusion from by remote attendees, and there are challenges of facilitating and collaborative interactions. And there are always technical issues. Here's a technical issue. For example, I run the Zoom at my church. And in the middle of the Zoom, I got a pop-up window on this darn PC that said, it's time to upgrade your software. And with the mouse, I reached for the close button, and I missed the close button, and I hit update now in the middle of service. Well, something happened. My computer shut down, but and it took a minute or two for the software to update. Now, I've had a number of embarrassing moments, and I just share that because they happen. Don't worry about it. It just happens. I restarted the meeting I restarted my computer, and all the other participants who were already on Zoom were still there. And I think that's because the Zoom on the cloud, it kept the meeting going. It's just that I dropped out for a short amount of time. It really didn't work out too badly. So there is an elephant in the room right now. And what is that elephant? What do you think it is? Just pause and think. What am I going to say is the elephant in the room? Well, it's technophobia. Honestly, the first time I started a Zoom meeting, I felt a little overwhelmed, and I'm pretty tech savvy. Learning something new always takes effort. And by the way, I think I know my audience today. Have you noticed how many times I've used flowers in my AI-generated images? I know you have. So technophobia is it's a feeling irrationally afraid of technology. Don't worry, computers don't bite. But what can we do about this feeling? Well, one thing is take a deep breath. And taking a deep breath works for a lot of things, not just technophobia. Focus on gradually learning, one technology at a time. Start with simple tasks. Ask for help when needed. Practice, 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 and avoid feeling pressure to learn everything all at once. Take a break. Chunk down the problem into smaller, manageable parts. That works in life, and that works in learning Zoom. Just take it one step at a time. Now let's get technical and look at some of the basic audiovisual requirements. And again, here I am, chunking it down one piece at a time. Begin with the computer. You'll need a laptop or a desktop for hosting. It's always the easiest to host from a laptop or desktop. That's best for running the meeting. Most computers and tablets now come with, they come with a little camera built in. But I prefer to use a webcam on a tripod for my Zoom meetings. So your computer or tablet has a built-in camera. It's not the best. An external webcam can provide better video or audio, and it connects to your computer with a USB cable. And the advantages are that a webcam can be mounted on a tripod and pointed in the direction of whoever is speaking in a conference room. And I do that all the time, whether I'm running the church Zoom or whether I'm running the Toastmaster Zoom or whether I'm in a classroom running a Zoom. If a student has a question, somebody else is standing up to give a talk, we just swivel the camera on the tripod and face it at the speaker. Now in a small conference room, your computers, the speakers and microphone built into your computer just are okay, but they're not good enough. So in a small conference room, maybe in a setting of 12 to 15 people, you can get a conference speakerphone that provides much better quality than your computer's built-in microphone. It's omnidirectional. It probably has at least 3 microphones in it facing in 3 different directions. So it picks up all the voices in the room, and it also has a speaker. It's a much better option than using the audio-visual, the camera and the speaker and microphone that's built into your computer. To run a Zoom meeting, of course, you need Wi-Fi. Zoom needs an internet connection. For the best experience, Zoom needs a stable and strong Wi-Fi. And most of you, I suspect, by now probably have a stable Wi-Fi with some fairly decent speed on the internet. You need less speed just to be an observer or joining a meeting. You need a little bit more speed to run a meeting. And but I'll give you an example. I have run Zoom meetings in a city park by creating a Wi-Fi hotspot with my iPhone. And with my iPhone being the Wi-Fi hotspot with my laptop computer, I ran a Zoom. So you can do it. And then finally, in a conference setting, the conference attendees would like to have a large screen to view what's going on Zoom. It takes me about 10 minutes to set up a hybrid Zoom meeting. In the photograph that you see, this is my Toastmasters group. That's the webcam on top of a desktop tripod. And I just swivel that. I sit there with next to the laptop, and I just swivel the camera left and right in the direction of who's ever speaking. It might take you until you've practiced 15 minutes to set up. When I go to church, I have it set up in 3 minutes. Just don't shut down the meeting in the middle of church. So if you haven't already, I guess you all have, you get the Zoom app. You download the Zoom app from zoom.com. The Zoom app runs on a laptop. It can run on Mac, PC, Linux computers, and also your tablets and your smartphones. Let's describe setting up a Zoom meeting for the first time. Within Zoom, say create a new meeting and give your meeting a short descriptive name. Short descriptive name might be Eric's Zoom meeting. Try not to get too creative with a meeting name and don't make it too long. Just keep it simple. If you get too creative, people just won't get it. And then I prefer sending invitations by Gmail. I don't use the attendees feature. So from this screen, you say send, and what I get then is an email from Zoom that looks something like this. And it has all the information about the meeting and the link. I don't find that very many people attend Zoom meetings by phone, but some do. And that could be lack of internet. So I think it's probably best to always include the Zoom phone numbers. Launch your meeting early. I saw that this garden club launches at least half an hour early, and I thought that's pretty cool. I like launching meetings early because people enjoy socializing before the meeting. You guys had a trivia section, which I thought was terrific because it engages. people are interacting. You know, in a conference setting, a lot of times it's one-way communication. There's a speaker and all the rest of you are listeners, and people often disengage if they're not interacting with the speaker. So that trivia was terrific. Now, the host of a Zoom meeting will always be multitasking, and they may need help. So depending upon the complexity of a meeting, I always recommend that you have a co-host. The co-host can ask participants to mute themselves. The co-host can also mute participants. I've attended large conferences where participants are invited to join in small groups. These might be special interest groups or board meetings or special separate social gatherings. A co-host can set up separate rooms for the Zoom attendees. And depending upon the security required, you may want to use a waiting room. And I see you use a waiting room here, where the co-host can be tasked with confirming membership in your group before letting them in. This is what I saw you doing this morning, is when people Zoom in, they're put into a waiting room and then they're admitted. There are times when there are Zoom programs that are membership only. And so the waiting room creates a gateway. The Zoom host can also create what are called breakout rooms. Now, I've attended large conferences where the participants are invited to join in small groups. These might be special interest groups or board meetings or social gatherings. And let me give you a couple of other examples. When Toastmasters International holds contests, they're by Zoom now, not in person. And the way breakout rooms are used in the contest are, the judges are asked to go to a room to review the rules. The contestants are asked to go to are sent to a separate room to prepare. And so separate rooms can be really functional in many, many situations. And you may have security concerns. People may talk too much or reveal too much in the chat. So I've been in meetings where there are folks who insist on multitasking and chatting during the meeting. I don't monitor the chat. I actually turn it off. I guess when I'm in a Zoom meeting, I want all of my focus on the presenter. I'm just distracted by a stream of chat that goes by. Let's get to recording. The record button records. You can pause and restart. And you don't need a paid account to record a Zoom meeting. Now, anybody can record a Zoom meeting, but if you have a paid account, you can record to the cloud. Otherwise, your recording is directly to your own computer. You know, in the past, I've forgotten to start a Zoom button. The record button, I told you I've made about every mistake in the world. I've forgotten to hit the record button. And now there's a feature with Zoom that where you can select the option to automatically record a meeting whenever the meeting begins. I use that now. So another task, screen sharing during a Zoom meeting gives only the users who you decide on full control over their screen. The host can enable or disable participants' ability to share their screen. Before this meeting started, I was designated a co-host that gave me the ability to share my screen. Zoom polling is a nice feature, which in the Zoom conferencing platform, it allows the hosts to create or pre-create or launch interactive polls during a meeting. Polling allows you to gather real-time information and feedback or opinions from participants by asking questions with multiple choice answers. And Becky, I loved your trivia questions this morning. They could have been done with a Zoom poll. So there's another technology. They are a great way to gauge an audience understanding or offer their opinions during a virtual meeting. So Polling is a cool feature. So if a presenter's Zoom suddenly stops during a presentation, the most immediate reaction is to panic and alert the attendees that there's a technical issue, and then you try to troubleshoot it quickly. I'm going to suggest that before a meeting, when you're planning a meeting, have a back channel. And a back channel is a way for the presenters and the organizers to stay in touch if something goes wrong during your Zoom meeting. And a back channel just means you share your phone numbers, and if necessary, text each other outside of Zoom if Zoom has crashed, and decide what to do next. Always have a back channel. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Okay, well, this is what I'm doing right now. I am actually sharing only a portion of my screen. I am looking at a fairly complex screen with a left-hand panel with thumbnail images of my upcoming slide. I'm also looking at some notes. I'm actually looking at some of your wonderful faces, but I'm only sharing a portion of the screen. And that is very, very useful. So when I set up this Zoom this morning, I selected the document that I wanted to share, and then from there, I selected the portion of the document that I wanted to share. Now, this is how I practice. This is what I was doing last night. And you could do this quite easily. If you've got a laptop computer and you've got your Zoom and your Zoom account, you can launch a meeting. And if you want to see how your Zoom meeting looks to others, log into your Zoom meeting with your iPhone or your any smart device. And then you can see what everybody else is going to see while you're practicing. That's really been my favorite go-to technique before I do any presentation, is I double check what you're going to see when I'm logged in and when I'm presenting. So these are the primary Zoom controls. They include mute, unmute, microphone, start, stop video, share, access the participant list, chat function, raise hand, and meetings. And there are a number of options with Zoom. You don't need to know all the options, and you can run a perfectly good Zoom meeting with all the default settings. But if you want to learn more, then start to do a deep dive and learn more about all the capabilities that Zoom has. There are, of course, reactions in Zoom. You can thumbs up, applaud, give a heart shape. And if you want to practice that right now because you've loved this presentation, go ahead and give me a reaction. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. How kind of you, Suzanne. Thank you very much. And that's it. This is intended to have been an overview. I hope it's given you a good start. A lot of you have probably only attended Zoom meetings and you've been thinking, well, maybe I could run one myself. I wanted to just give you some idea of what the options are. And with that, I'm going to close this presentation and
Eric.
return to my screen and look at the chat and start answering your questions.
Yeah, Eric, how many helpers would you say, how many people does it take to actually run a hybrid meeting?
Oh, well, a minimum of two. Minimum of two. I mean, what if your host drops out for some reason? I think you always want to have a backup host. Okay, and then these international Toastmasters conferences that I've attended, they have just a number of helpers. Somebody is assigned to monitor the chat. Somebody has pre-created the breakout rooms. Somebody has pre-created polling. There's so much work to put together a large conference, but I think you'll need several co-hosts just for backup. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Well, wait a minute,
And-
before you stop sharing, can you, well, can you?
Go ahead.
Maybe we don't
Yes,
need it.
Robin.
Share. How about walk us through doing a poll? How about just one question, but can you walk us through that? So we see what you're doing, or describe what you're doing on the parts we can't see.
Right. Well, to do that, I would have to stop sharing the PowerPoint
Okay,
and go into Zoom.
okay.
And okay, well, let's give it a try. I haven't done this in a while. So stop share. Polling. What are you seeing now? You're seeing just my face.
Yes. It's a
Okay,
good.
okay. You can see that my eyes are tracking around the room. Robin, I appreciate the question, but I don't think I can do this on the fly.
Okay. I
Okay.
couldn't either, so that's okay. All right, do
All
we have
right.
any other questions for Eric?
Okay, I'm opening up my chat now, and I don't know where to start. So
Actually, Eric, if I can tell you, Sue Miner is asking for the floor and she's monitoring the chat. And so she can ask you the questions that have come up.
that sounds like a great way to do it, Becky. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that wasn't even why I had my hand raised, but I'll be happy to do that for you. I have a question of my own. When you mentioned the distraction of the chat while you're trying to give a presentation, when I'm watching presentations, at the bottom, anything anybody is writing jumps up as a black box with the information and it blocks part of the screen. Is there any way as a participant to block that from happening?
Yeah, my chat is a floating box, and I can drag it anywhere I want to on the screen. So I dragged mine off to the side. So it's
On
not
the
there.
side?
Or you can minimize it. Are you saying that it constantly reappears every time there's a chat?
Essentially, what happens is if I don't have the chat panel open on either the side or wherever you want to drag it, then whenever anybody puts a little chat in like, hey, hi, I'm from New Hampshire, it's snowing here, it pops up at the bottom of the screen and blocks part of the presentation. So, and I know people want to communicate, and I think that's lovely, but I just wonder if there's a way that I can turn that off from my end when I'm a viewer.
I don't know. I think the workaround is just simply keep the chat box open and minimized somehow in the corner of your screen.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. I think if you hit the little red circle, it removes the chat box where the chat is happening, and then you can just see the numbers of the people that are chatting of the messages, but you don't see the actual words.
If, can I interject here? This is Jennifer Moreland. You need to mute your notifications in your chat box. So if you open the chat box, up at the very top where it says Membership Monday, right next to that, you see a bell. If you click on that bell, you can mute notifications from chat.
I'm not
Hmm.
seeing the bell.
I don't have a bell.
Yep. Not everybody sees what you see.
All right.
Oh,
So let's go back to the hybrid meetings, and I'll ask everybody to please put their questions in chat because we're looking at it. So one problem that came up is let's see it again, taking questions from both the live audience and the Zoom participants. And almost always one of those audiences gets ignored. And so that's where I would say certainly you are exactly right. You need two people because one needs to be monitoring that. And particularly if you're going to be doing any voting, because as a parliamentarian, it's very important to me that everyone gets a chance to debate a motion that's on the floor. So you want to go, you want someone monitoring that.
And when you're taking votes, are you taking public votes, or is this a secret voting?
I'm gonna say for garden clubs, it's generally open voting, but every once in a while,
Yeah.
we do have, there could be a motion to have a ballot vote, which would then be a secret vote.
Yeah, with the judging in an International Toastmasters conference, the votes are secret and they have to be done outside of the Zoom platform. The voting is sent to somebody's email.
Can you show us how to go into a breakout room, how to set up the breakout rooms? Is that something you can do on the fly?
I'm looking at,
And for the rest of you people, Eric didn't know he was gonna have to do some of this stuff, so he might have.
okay, so I have.
And Robin, I am
have-
looking at the chat if you want me to
Yeah.
pull
Okay.
some of those questions up
Okay,
after he's done doing the breakout room.
Right, so under there's an icon at the bottom of my screen that says breakout rooms. I selected it, and now it's giving me the option to create a breakout room, one or more breakout rooms, where I can manually assign people to those breakout rooms or automatically assign them. So I just created a breakout room, and I'm going to send. I see everybody now on a list, and I can select everybody and send them over to a breakout room. You can leave a breakout room at any time. I can close the breakout room. It's a place that has all the functionality of this main room. So you can have a host who shares a screen. You have your own chat, and on and on. So I created a breakout room. I don't know if you see that I created a breakout room.
No, we can't see that,
Yeah,
but you've
okay,
walked us through how to get to it.
yeah. So I'm going to,
Is it being recorded? If we were to, let's say 5 of us were to go into that breakout room, is that recorded? Do you know?
good question. I don't think it is. I think only the main room is recorded.
That'd be very hard to figure out
Yeah.
which conversations were in which one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the chat, I have from Jen Moreland in Arizona. Her question was, do you use a microphone for the program speaker so that the remote participants can hear better? So I think she's asking in addition to that other speaker that you have in the center of the room.
Good question. It's different scenarios. At my local Toastmasters club, we meet in a small room. I use the speaker that's built into the webcam. At church, we have a separate speaker and then a box that digitizes that analog data coming from the speaker into digital, and that is input into the computer. And so the quality from the lectern is very, 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 very good when you have but you can have multiple sound sources. Yes.
Yeah, and actually at my church, we have 4 speakers and we also have the camera that moves. So whoever's doing the Zoom meeting can control which one of the speakers is being used depending on what they're trying to capture, and can move the camera so you can see specific areas of our church. So yeah, it can get complex if you really want to get into it.
Let me add a little bit more to that. So back to the church. The choir is not microphoned because we're still work in progress, and we'd love to have a microphone on the choir. We don't have that yet. And so Zoom, by default, has noise canceling. And noise canceling is making an attempt to drop out any background noise. The choir, Zoom thinks the choir is background noise, and it's trying to cancel out the choir every Sunday.
Maybe it's
So-
maybe it's an editorial comment on your choir.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. So there is an option usually at the top of the
Mhm.
screen that lets you change from cancel the noise, to turn off noise canceling.
Uh-huh.
And the option is called something like music for musicians, so
Mhm.
that Zoom recognizes that music is part of the program, not just background noise to be cut out.
Yes, yeah, we have that same thing. Thank you for bringing that up. So another question I have here is from Beverly. I am going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Kazikas, from New Jersey. And she comments that she uses an owl for her hybrid meetings and it works great swiveling to face whoever is speaking. So I don't know if the owl means it's something that senses somebody speaking and immediately goes there or not. I don't know if you know anything about that, Eric.
Yes, we started with, our church started with an owl 4 years ago, and the owl has a 360-degree view camera. The owl makes an attempt using software to isolate whoever is speaking, and I think it mainly does it by who's in motion. And so the owl, with its software, presents a strip across the screen at the top, which is a 360-degree view of the sanctuary, and then an enlarged portion, like you see me, of what it thinks is the current speaker. And Al does a pretty good job, but not a great job. And we weren't happy with the audio quality of the owl either. Its built-in speaker just didn't match what we could do with a remote, with a real microphone. So owl is a good option, but except for audio.
Eric, we have 2 minutes left. And so would you go over what your recommendation for a camera, a tripod, and the speakerphone is one more time? We've had several questions on that.
Okay, we recently bought a new webcam for the church. I went to Consumer Reports, and Consumer Reports, I have a subscription to Consumer Reports, but I think some of this is free. I just asked went to a recommendation page. Logitech is a very good quality. We went with a Logitech it is a camera, but you can spend $60 on a basic camera, microphone, webcam. You can spend a lot more. There's some of these better ones now, more expensive ones have built-in software that that identify the speaker and zoom in on the speaker, that tracks somebody across the room. That could be convenient. They're using some AI technology to focus on a person. You can zoom back, show more of the room, and the camera will focus in on the activity that it thinks is the activity. As far as a conference speakerphone, again, it's been a while since I bought one, but I think anytime you spend over $100 on a conference speakerphone, that's great. A friend and I recently had a conversation about this. USB, having a wired USB and also having a Bluetooth capability on a speakerphone is great, because then you can place the speakerphone in the middle of a circle. Say you have a gathering of people in a conference or chairs around a circle. You can put a USB speakerphone on the floor or on a chair in the middle of a circle and not have to have it tethered to a computer. So USB is a great option to have when you get a USB speakerphone.
Thank you.
Any speakerphone.
All right.
Conference speaker is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We'd love to be able to take more questions, but we are out of time. I'm committed to letting our people go at 11 o'clock or 11 o'clock my time, and whatever time for the rest of the country. I'd like to thank you so much, Eric. Thank you, Judy Gratz. We are enriched because of your knowledges. And now for the rest of you, come back and join us on April 7th, where we're going to do 75 Shades of Garden Club. That'll be 50 Shades of Green from Brenda Moore and 25 top tips of how to grow a garden club by me. And so now I'm going to be a better presenter because of Eric and Judy. Thank you so much.